Welcome to the ArtStart info session for ArtStart 2023. We want to let everybody know that this info session is being recorded. So we're going to ask you to turn off your microphones. You can turn off your cameras too if you're more comfortable. That would be fine. And we'll begin. The applications for the ArtStart opened yesterday, so I don't know if anybody had a chance to review them, but they are open and they will remain open through April 24th. And before we begin, I would just like to give a big thank you to our supporters and funders who help us continue the ArtStart program, and that is the Prudential Foundation, New Jersey Arts and Cultural Renewal Fund, the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation, New Jersey State Council on the Arts, the Terrell Fund, Bank of America, M&T, and TD Bank Charitable Foundation. So without their generosity, we would not be able to continue this program. So thank you.
And
go ahead. I'm
here
sorry.
I say welcome as everyone comes in, and that we're really thrilled that you're joining us in this, which is the 22nd year of ArtStart mini grants from Newark Arts. So we're excited to see what kind of in-community programming you're doing.
Yes. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Heather Ayers. I am the Director of Grant Administration at Newark Arts. And who spoke is Regina Barboza. And she is our Director of Development and Strategic Initiatives. In the background, who I don't see, we have Lauren Craig, who's assisting us, and she is the Director of Marketing and Artistic Initiatives. So I'm not sure, I don't see everybody who's on here, if we have any other Newark Arts staff on board, but we're all glad you're here, so thank you. So Newark Arts' mission is to power the arts to transform the lives of those who live in and work in and visit Newark, New Jersey. The ArtStart grant program began in 2001 with its purpose to nurture the arts and cultural activities and to enhance the capacity of nonprofit organizations, schools, and individual artists to provide arts-based projects throughout the city's 5 wards. This year's ArtStarts events must take place between July 1st, 2023 and June 30th, 2024. The projects that will be considered demonstrate cultural assets that as a vital part of the community life, education, well-being, and economic development. These programs should be designed to serve as a catalyst for cultural activities that is either not available, sporadic, or available only in limited supply within the community being served. As we know, COVID is not going away, so be aware and follow government guidelines about the pandemic or any other crises that may arise. These protocols are designed to protect the public. ArtStart grants provide support for local arts and cultural organizations, schools, and individual artists. Artistic disciplines include the creative, visual, literary, performing, film, and public arts. Organizations without a 501c3 status must apply with a tax-exempt organization serving as their fiscal agent. A memorandum of understanding is required as evidence of this relationship. So the memorandum of understanding is basically the agreement between you and your fiscal agent. Applicants may request a maximum of $3,000, and on average, we award about 15 to 20 grants. So this is a picture from Carter Glennon Center for Arts and Nature. They had a summer program last year, and they were one of last year's ArtStarts recipients. And also I'd like to add that, there is a need for this funding for the artistic community. And so the city recently started the Creative Catalyst Fund, which is now in its 3rd cycle, its 3rd year. So that funding, which is very different from ArtStart grant, has the capacity to reach a larger audience to help cultivate our artistic communities. And so we're so grateful that there are other programs out there that are supporting the arts. The grant reviewers who are reviewing the applications, they're going to look for programs or projects that demonstrate collaboration with community-based and neighborhood organizations. They're looking for groups that address civic and social needs and empower residents, that stimulate creativity and community engagement, that engage with diverse populations such as children, youth, seniors, and people with special needs, and are led by small budget organizations or individual artists, and that occur in at least one of the 5 wards. So proposal criteria should include artistic programs that benefit underserved communities, programs that address a specific community issue or concern, and clearly demonstrate their ability to administer the program. And here's another group of ArtStart recipients from last year. This is Art Always for All. It's part of the Ivy Hill Vailsburg Center for Arts and Culture. And we're just really pleased that we can reach so many people. It's important to take note of these dates. The applications opened yesterday, January 30th. Viewing this info session is required, and so the video will be posted online so you can go back and look at it. Applications will be open until April 24th, and no application will be accepted after 11:59 p.m. on April 24th. So be aware and give yourself plenty of time to submit your applications. You'll be notified in June, and the funding period is from July 1st through June 30th of 2024. And a final report will be due, and that will be due by May 31st. Keep note of these important dates. Some recommended support material that you can provide when you submit your applications is your memorandum of understanding if that's required. Proof of commitment from secured project locations, proof of commitment from professionals that you hire, resumes from some of your key participants, and samples of work such as pictures, perhaps if you had done this project previously, or other forms of documents that indicate you're able to complete your program. And then also your organization's most recent annual budget.
I'm sorry, can I just ask everyone to mute themselves? Thank you.
And here is another one. This is a picture of some students from Keys to Success. And all right, organizations can apply, but they must either be a federally tax exempt Section 501c3 charitable organization with an annual budget of less than $1 million, or an accredited school or public agency. Individual artists and organizations that don't have an IRS determination letter or a 501c3 status, they must partner with a nonprofit organization that will serve as their fiscal agent, and they have to have an MOU, which again is the agreement between you and your fiscal agent. And so you'll submit that with your application. The grant selection process, organizations and individuals may submit one ArtStart application, and our staff will review the applications, but only for completeness. And then a peer review panel will review all the applications, basing it on the criteria that and their considerations will then be given to the Newark Arts Board of Directors, who make the final decisions and funding awards. Newark schools, public, private, and charter may apply, but please, if you're a school or working with a school, you should take note of the timeline. Applications are due April 24th, but we don't send the notifications out until June. And I know sometimes in June, schools, their offices are not fully staffed. So just be aware of the timelines, and You can't start your program before July 1st, but it can continue through the following school year. And here is the Carter Glenson Center for Arts. Again, they had a horseback riding program, which is so nice. Okay. Grants may be used for artist fees, coordinators, technical crew, and other professional fees. They can be used for space rentals, props, transportation costs, and other materials, operating expenses, and promotional expenses. And if you have expenses that you're not sure if the grant can cover it, you can always reach out to us and we'll let you know. We do not want the grants to cover, they're not intended to fund programs or services that are outside of Newark. The grants need to impact the citizens, the communities within Newark. We don't support treatment programs or athletic teams, fundraisers or galas, advocacy or research groups, capital or building construction, endowments, staff doing their regular business, or scholarships. So when you're creating your budgets, just be aware, you know, what Newark Arts' funding is for. There's another group, this again, Autumn Notes, which is Keys to Success. All applicants are required to complete the project budget form, which we can review with submittable. So our next slide shows the link to get you to the application. So it's newarkarts.org/artstart. And if you click on that, it takes us to the website. It takes us to our application page. And so we have, if you scroll down, you can apply for the ArtStart grant. You can sign up for our info session and you can read the guidelines. The guidelines are basically what we're reviewing here tonight. So we're going to click on for the application. The application is within submittable. So you need to have an account within submittable to apply. So when you click on the link, it takes you to the page that tells you about Newark Arts. And if you scroll down, again, you can read the guidelines, but if you click the button that says submit, that will take you to the application page. And here's the application. This gives you information about the dates that you can request a maximum of $3,000. Yes.
We can't see the application.
Oh, you can't.
Unpin the, you need to unpin the
I have to unpin the
screen. Yes, and then go
Okay.
to the application page.
All
Thank
right,
you.
let's see. So sorry. All right, see, this is, I'm going to do it again. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back. So when you click that link, it will take you to the, I have to get up here, sorry, to this page at the newarkarts.org/artstart. So when you come down, you'll see that you have these options. And so we're going to click on apply for ArtStart 23-24. And here you can read about Newark Arts. And if you scroll down, you see ArtStart grant. And if you click on submit, that takes you to the application. And here you get the dates, you get that you can request a maximum of 3,000. You get some information about the projects. And then you can also click again and read the full guidelines. Or you can begin, and here's the application, you know, the project name. So you would write your project name. And then is this for an organization? And that would be for an organization with a 501(c)(3) standing, or an individual artist, or an organization without a 501(c)(3). And you can see, so when you click on these, the requirements shift a little bit. So if you're an individual artist, you would come down here and you would put your name and your phone number. And artists, so everywhere you see the asterisk, that is required information. So you put in your email, you put in your address. If you have a website, put in your website so we can go and we can view you. Now, if you're an individual, you have to have a fiscal agent. And again, this will be on the same as if you're an organization that is not exempt. So you put in the name of your fiscal agent, their mailing address, the contact person, the contact phone number, the email. Again, the mailing address or the address if their business address is different.
Sorry,
and then
I'm sorry, what'd you say about the fiscal agent?
So if you're an individual,
Mhm.
so we have criteria, we have 3 groups that can apply. So you can be an organization that has a tax exempt standing, or you can be an individual or an organization without the tax exempt standing. And if you don't have the tax exempt standing, then you need to have a fiscal agent. And the fiscal agent would be an organization that has the tax exempt standing. And so if you have that, that's who we have to send the grant to if you're awarded the grant. So you have to have a relationship with this fiscal agent. You have an agreement that's called a memorandum of understanding. And that is the agreement between you and that organization to discuss how they'll disperse the funds with you.
Thank you.
Okay, does that help? Okay, so we need their information, and yeah, we need their information. So and then you would also upload the MOU so that we have that. So when you get through that, you're going to go towards now the actual application where you're going to tell us about the grant. You're going to tell us which ward you're affecting, and it could be all the wards. Maybe it's only one ward. You have multi-choice there. Again, your artistic discipline. It can be several or it can be one. If you have one that's not listed here on the screen, then click other and then just describe what it is. The amount you can request is up to $3,000. You need $2,000, that's fine. Just tell us what it is, but $3,000 is the most that you can receive in this grant. And then you have to tell us a summary statement, and this is an abbreviated statement. It's only 75 words, and just let us know what, some information about your project. Here's where you would upload your memorandum of understanding, and then the 501c3 letter of determination. That is your fiscal agent's tax exempt letter from state. And then authorization would be this paragraph here. We need you to copy it, put it on a Word document, sign it, and then upload it here. And so that's that you're authorizing that we have the right to use your information that you're submitting. So now you're going to tell us more. You're going to the narrative section. You're going to tell us more about your application. You're going to about your project. You're going to submit a description. You have 500 words, so that's like one page of writing. You don't have to write 500 words, but you can't exceed 500 words. If you exceed, you'll get an error notice, and then you'll have to fix cut it back. And you'll tell us about the project. What are the objectives? What are your goals? Does it align with your mission? Just give us all the information you can that describes the project. The second narrative will be about management, how you're managing it, who your partners are, who will be organizing specific parts of it. The need, what is the need of this project? How did you determine the need for this project and towards, for the community that you're going to help? The targeted population, that would be who your project is geared towards. Is it geared towards children or adults or seniors or special needs or just specific communities? Just plus, how will you evaluate the success of your project? You can let us know and submit all the information that you'll use to evaluate it. your outreach? Are you going to do mailings? Are you going to hand out, how are you reaching your targeted audience? And then we want to know your timeline, when your program begins and when it'll end, and all the information that will lead you to a success at the end. Your budget. This is important. We need to know how you're going to use the funds. And you can tell us your full budget, and then you can break it down and tell us what parts of the budget the ArtStart grant will be used for. So there is a worksheet down here. And so you'll see you can put your project name, and then you can put your name. And then we're asking, so this column here is for the ArtStart grant. So is the ArtStart money going to be used for operating expenses? Maybe you want $1,500 of it to be used in operating expenses. And then maybe the other $1,500 will be for supplies. And you'll see it tallies it up over here. And in this column where it says other income, maybe you have fees for the artists that you have to pay, right? And maybe you have rental that you have to pay. So then your columns get added up, your ArtStart column, your other income column, and then your total. And so we want to know the sources for the other income. Is it from another organization, another grant? Did you, do a fundraising? Did you get donations? Or are people giving you in-kind donations? Did somebody, donate a computer or supplies for your projects? And then down here, you upload some support material, which would be pictures or resumes or other documents to show us. And then you agree with the terms, and you can either save it as a draft or submit it. And once it's submitted, though, then it's gone. So you want to make sure that you've written everything clearly and have reviewed it. So are there any questions about the application? I'm going to go back.
Does the project have to be a live event, or what are some of the accepted projects?
So the projects can be anything. We have people who have put on performances, have done art displays, have had just interactive activities with the community, with like a summer arts series. So it's really not limited. Is that?
I think what we go for is to make sure that there is community impact and community engagement, and bringing arts access to community to really enrich neighborhoods. If I had to, say it in a nutshell, I think. Yeah.
Okay, you see this screen again. So we're back here. And again, so newarkarts.org/ArtStart is where you would go. Here we have some young musicians from another ArtStart. And we have question and answers. I can just review some of these questions that we've had. And if Lauren has any that have come up.
Yes, there's one question that came to the chat. Summer Dawn wants to know, for the narrative budget field, what should we describe or share that would be different from the info in the worksheet?
Say it again.
For the narrative budget field on the application, what should we describe or share that would be different from the info in the worksheet?
Yeah, it really wouldn't be different. It would just be you writing it a different way, I think.
Are you just amplifying how, are we, and I'm speaking off the cuff here, is it the line item within the budget where you describe that line item?
Yeah, so the budget worksheet only allows for numbers. So if add more description to it, it would just be a narrative, but the numbers is really just in the worksheet. It's so the narrative would tell us more about where the funds are coming from, or if you have a breakdown that, you put in a lump that, 2,000 is for rental space, but really, 500 of it is because you're going to be using this one rec center, and then the rest of it is because you're going to rent a theater for your performance at the end. But it would be just be more detailed or descriptive if you needed to. That help? Is that?
Mhm.
And then, okay, so what is the success rate for ArtStart applicants? Really, it depends on how many applications we receive. We usually give about 15 to 20 grants in a year. So if we got 100, grants, it would be, be 1 in 5. Generally, I think we get, we get anywhere between 60 and 100, I think. So applications, haven't we? So we've gotten quite a few in the past couple of years. So it all depends on how many applications we receive. So you do want to review your applications, make sure that it's worded well, make sure that, you're following and collaborating and hitting the communities within Newark, so that, whatever it is that you think will make your application shine.
Yeah, I
And
was
Newark-
gonna say, I'm sorry, just to
No,
jump
please,
in.
go ahead.
Heather, I was gonna say, I feel that the jury looks fondly on applications that do include that collaborative piece. So to, organizations or an artist in an organization, or even two artists collaborating. And then they also want you to be working to help the wards. It's helpful if your project or program is taking place in the wards of Newark outside of downtown, or also is assisting populations like youth or elders.
Thank you. Can Newark staff help me with my applications? So you can call us and ask us general questions, and we can, but we can't tell you how to write your answers. We have to, but we can certainly guide you if you have questions regarding the application. If you're not from Newark, can you still apply for the grants? Yes, you can apply. But the grants are specifically to serve people of Newark residents, Newark communities. So as long as your program does affect communities within Newark, you can apply.
Heather, just to amplify in terms of the number of grant requests and applications that we get, it's maybe helpful to know that on average, we're funding maybe anywhere between 15 and 25 grants per year, roughly. So if that helps people.
Yes, I get that's normally, I think it's no less than 15, and it's been higher. Carol does have her hand raised. Does she have?
Mute.
Carol, there you go.
Okay. This may be a redundant question, but is photography and vintage images considered visual art?
Yeah, photography is art, and it's visual art. It's
Okay, I know it sounds stupid, but there's
nothing sounds stupid.
sometimes it's not considered visual art.
Well, it's visual art, and if there's another area that you feel that you want to classify it as, that maybe it's maybe you want to call it media. I mean, they can overlap, certainly.
Thank you.
Yes.
Heather, I just wanted to amplify a question that came through the chat in terms of a memorandum. What is a memorandum of understanding? Because that's the terminology used.
Yes.
And it is simply a contract or a written agreement between the two parties. So it would be you and your fiscal agent, just a written agreement. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Because that is something I want to stress because that is important. And so everybody that's applying as an individual will need to have a relationship with a nonprofit organization who can serve as their fiscal agent. And so you need to have that contract. And then again, organizations who don't have the nonprofit standing also need to have that. So yeah, that's very important. What if only part of my program happens in Newark? So Newark Arts will only fund, so money that comes from us will only fund those projects that, part of the project that is in Newark. So you'll have to be very careful about, very specific about where the funding is. And again, then that would be something that you can include in your budget narrative. If I plan to partner with other organizations, should I list them in my proposal? Yes. It says local partners are integral to the success of any community-based project. You must mention your partners, indicate whether they are confirmed or proposed, and tell us how they will be involved. A letter of support from the executive director is also required. Your collaborations, add them in your descriptions and let us know, because that is, like Lauren mentioned, that is a criteria that our jurists really do look for. I have a great idea for a project, but nowhere to hold it. What should I do? Applicants must secure space to run their programs prior to submitting their proposals. Our panel will be looking at how realistic your program is to implement. Based on the details you provide and your program history, experience, projects proposed without a definite space are deemed less realistic. So we do ask you in the descriptions to tell us about where your projects will be. And so it is helpful that if you have everything identified in your application, we want to make sure that that the programs can be fulfilled and that you'll be able to do that. And sometimes you have it set and then something happens and you have to change your location on your venue. And that's okay. But keep us informed and let us know about these changes. And sometimes we'll ask you to resubmit a budget so we can discuss it. Yeah, so we try and keep communication open throughout the course of the grant cycle. ADA and how does it affect my program? The Americans with Disabilities Act is a civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in all places that are open to the general public. So we just want you to be aware that the places that you're holding your events and your programs are compliant with ADA regulations.
Really that spaces are accessible.
There, yes.
Folks.
How should I notify Newark Arts Council if my email or mailing address changes after I submit my ArtStart grant application? So contact us at 973-643-1625 or at artstart@newarkarts.org, or you can notify me. I'm Heather at newarkarts.org. The one thing though is submittable. You have an email when you create your submittable account. You create it with an email, and that's the email that Submittable uses for our internal communications. So try not to change your email address in the middle of the grant cycle, because that might be difficult, and you might have you might miss some outreach. So, and then also as far as that, you want to make sure that the submittable is received in your inbox, because sometimes spam filters will filter out the emails from submittable. So just be aware that when it starts coming time to dates, that if you haven't received an email for us, just look in your spam, it might be sitting there. And then are ArtStart grants transferable? No. The grant is intended for the purpose that you stated in your application. So that is what you need to spend the money on. But again, as we stated, sometimes changes happen, sometimes things happen. And so you have to adjust your program. And, so reach out to us and let us know, and we try and work with you. But as it does say in here, if you can't complete your program, if your program doesn't happen, then you can, you may have to return the grant funds. But generally, we really try and work with you. So,
Heather, we have another question from the chat.
okay.
Would a program dealing with students in one school and only with those students qualify for community?
So if you're working in a school, and yes, yeah, that would be the community that is being reached, are the students within that school, and students and youth are criteria that we look highly upon. So, are there other questions? All right. So what happens if part of my proposal falls through after I've been awarded an ArtStart grant? Again, communication, reach out with us, let us know about changes, let us know how it's affecting your budget. And we do try and work with you. And if you're awarded a grant, what are the requirements and payment information? So it says you may not spend grant dollars until you've received an official award letter and signed the grant agreement, but you won't receive the grant dollars until you sign, until you're awarded and sign and submit the forms that we request. So what are the requirements and pay information? So following the project's completion, you must submit a final report. That is very important, and we do ask that. We want to see pictures. We want to hear about your successes. We want to use our information, your information, to promote ArtStart for next year, and use your stories. So we really need these final reports. We want to hear about the successes and the impact that you made. And if you don't complete the final reports, it may affect future grant funding for you.
Heather, a few more questions.
Yeah, please.
Is a fiscal agent the same as a fiscal sponsor?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, same thing. And also, can an organization apply if it received funding in 2022?
Yes, you can apply. Make sure that you complete your final report. Make sure that you get it done. They overlap, they don't. I mean, the application is open while your program from 22 is still going on. But as long as you complete your final report, there's no reason why you can't be in the pool for 2023.
Are there, Heather, this is my own question, are there a certain number of years that you can receive funds and then you can no longer receive it?
So technically no, but my ArtStart is really for new grants, for new programs, for people who are just trying to get their foot in and start. So in theory, we don't want to keep giving money to the same groups over and over and over. But go ahead, Regina.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we do want to diversify funding so that, lots of good programs have a chance. It was designed ArtStart was designed 22 years ago to be catalytic, to catalyze and grow new arts programming for community. So, I would say that the jurors will probably be looking at things like that.
Yeah. Yes. The intention is to get startup programs in there. But we have given to some of the same groups, and sometimes they come with a new project that just stands out, and so that's why, even though it's the same group, it's a new idea or a new take or a new audience, or, so yeah. And will we send a grantee kit? If resources are available at newarkarts.org. And we have, okay, so to help you promote your partnership with us, recipients of the ArtStart grants are provided with all necessary documentation, ArtStart posters and proper logos, as well as instructions for how to properly credit Newark Arts Council as a funder after the award is given. Organizations receiving support are encouraged to promote receipt of the award through press and social media. And then my final question that I have on this is, if I'm a first-time applicant, how do I make sure I'm successful? Newark Arts strongly recommends that you have someone review your application to check for typos and anything you may have missed. Did you include all the required attachments? Did you answer each question to the best of your ability? Select a friend, a colleague to check over your application before you submit it. That's, I mean, sometimes a second set of eyes is your best. I know when I've written things, my eyes are reading what my brain thinks I wrote. And then when I look at, at what I'm sending somebody, it's really not at all the same. So that second set of eyes can be crucial. Are
Carol, did you
there any
have,
other questions?
Carol, did you have another question, or was that from the previous question?
When it says executive director, can that be the president of the organization?
Oh, yes, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
fine. Or a high ranking official in the organization.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna, what? Oh, okay.
That's okay.
I'm gonna lower my hand. Thank
There
you.
you got it.
No worries.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Are there any other questions? Have we covered? And also, this will be posted, and if so, you just want to review it, or if the guidelines are up on the website. So if you just want to scroll through them, or if you have other questions, please email or call the office. So we're here to help you, and we want to help promote your success. So, all right. So again, I'm going to show you our funder page, because without the support of our funders, we would be struggling to do this. So we really appreciate them.
Yeah.
All right. And
I put Heather's email in the chat, and as well the website to check out the application.
great.
Great.
All right. This was a painting that one of the ArtStart groups submitted.
Nice.
So it's all different types of art. So we look forward to seeing what you have to that what your projects are. It's always exciting. It's the variations of what's out there that people submit is just really incredible.
I have a quick
So thank you
question.
yes.
Sorry, I'm like really late on the question.
Nope, that's okay.
I was planning to incorporate the youth of Newark in planning a fashion show so they can learn all the logistics, but it's I might have it at a restaurant. I'm trying not to, but it's so easy for me to use this restaurant in near NJ Pack.
Yeah, no, that would be okay.
Oh, it doesn't have to be a nonprofit then.
Oh, no. Where your venue is, where your, no,
Okay.
what, we just want you to, we want you to partner and have collaborations. And then as far as the nonprofit, that is your fiscal agent. That's the person or the group, the entity that we have to send the funds through.
Okay.
That's
I might be incorporated by the time April 24th comes. So I guess I just have to figure it out.
okay. And if you're incorporated, if you're a corporation, unless you have 501c3 standing.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a 501.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Yeah, no, and good luck with that. I hope it works out for you to get the incorporation before the due date.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time. And we're excited. We're excited to see all your applications and to read them. So we wish you all well. And again, reach out with questions.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.